Hey guys, Ken with MAPerformance. I'm the web specialist here. I'm here to talk to you about aftermarket gauges, but I'm here to talk to you about three specific ones: boost, air-fuel ratio, and oil pressure. These are our beliefs to be the top three that you need in your modified car. Aftermarket gauges. With a quick search of the internet, you'll see that there is a wide variety of brands, models, and different options available for you out there, between volt, intake, exhaust temp, oil pressure, water temperature, boost. You don't know what to choose from. There's also a wide variety of name brands. Pro Sport is what we have here in front of us right now. There's also AEM, Defi, and that's just to name two of them off the top of my head. MAPerformance.com, you can see a whole variety of what we have to offer and all the different types. By installing these gauges, you'll be able to monitor your boost, your oil pressure for proper lubrication, and your air-fuel ratio to make sure that you're getting the most potential power your car can make. Let's hop into a couple of cars and see exactly how these gauges work, live action.
Hey guys, back here again to show you the actual working, functioning gauges. Right now we have these set up in a 2008 Subaru STI. It's one of the workers here, John Blocker. Little shout out. We're going to be showing you the AEM air-fuel ratio gauge, which we have down here at the bottom, the Defi, which is the oil pressure gauge, and then this top one is also the Defi boost gauge. We're going to take a little road trip right now and show you how these gauges exactly work. So hang on. So right now you can see that these gauges are monitoring exactly everything that's going on internally in the car. The boost gauge is watching the vacuum and boost pressure both on and off the accelerator. The oil pressure is also doing the same, and the air-fuel ratio is monitoring how much air-to-fuel combination is going into the vehicle. The ideal limit is right around 14.7, and that is where most tuners would like to have it at. Anything above and beyond will make the vehicle run rich and lean. So, also as a tip point, most tuners won't even touch a vehicle without an air-fuel ratio gauge already in it. It helps them in the tuning process of getting everything mapped out fuel-wise, and makes it easier for them to make sure that you're achieving optimal power. There's two different styles of gauges. There's a digital and an analog. There's much debate between the two of which is the better of the options. Honestly, a digital readout is a little bit safer. You don't have to run an actual physical line into the car, and that line has a tendency to become brittle and frail over time and wear and tear, which could cause oil leak into the engine bay or actually into the cabin of the car, which anybody that knows anything about hot oil, that's not good. So, with that being said, a recommended digital oil pressure gauge is preferred. So there's an analog boost gauge, which is what we're running right here, and it actually runs a vacuum hose to a boost source on the turbo. An analog boost gauge is actually going to read via a vacuum hose that's attached at the turbo source, a boost source on the turbo actually. It's going to run a hose into your engine bay and connect up that way. There's a little bit of controversy with that, because if there's any type of puncture to the hose, or if it becomes corroded, or not corroded but dry warped or anything like that to cause a leak in it, it can cause a false reading. And overboost and boost leaks are pretty much the same when it comes to wear and tear on the motor, and you don't want either of them. So with that being said, most people lean towards a digital boost gauge, which avoids having to run any type of vacuum line through the firewall. Now, oil pressure gauges are imperative to any modified car. Monitoring the amount of oil going into a running vehicle, and as well as the turbo, is crucial. You need to know this, because if you're not getting the proper amount, then essentially you're going to blow a turbo or blow a motor or both. And anybody that's done any type of modification to a vehicle knows that that can be expensive. Right now we are showing a analog gauge that is running. It's the Defi oil pressure gauge that we have in this AAA pillar. And as you can see, with the amount of acceleration, it adjusts to the amount of oil pressure that's being built up, or the amount of oil that's flowing through the motor. Now, just like boost gauges, there's also a lot of talk in between which is better, between analog or digital. I believe it comes down to preference, whichever one you prefer. Analog, you will physically run a line into the vehicle, which is then also running the risk of any punctures or cracks or anything like that happening. It will send oil into your engine bay, or even worse, into the actual cabin of the vehicle. So once again, between digital and analog, I feel as though it comes down to whichever you prefer most. Most people like the digitals just because they don't want to run the line. Some people prefer the analog just because they don't mind the risk. They like to live life on the wild side. So the last and most important gauge, and that's running for any type of turboed car or truck, is going to be the air-fuel ratio. Here we have the AEM air-fuel ratio gauge. It is a digital gauge. It's a wideband as well. So this aftermarket gauge is it's typically used in tuning, but it can also help find any weak points in the power band after an initial tune. So even if you drive a stock turbocharged car or truck with no mods even, I mean, it could be straight from the dealership, we recommend getting an air-fuel ratio gauge. It will help you when it does come time to do your tune. It will help your tuner adjust the fuel mapping to where you get the most potential out of your car. Now what this does exactly is it will read the air-fuel mixture that is going into the combustion chamber after it's burned to create power. Optimal range, I guess you can say, or optimal area that you'd want to be in is while under a constant acceleration is right around a 14.7. And as you start to accelerate, you will see it start to drop back down into the 10s, 12s area. We're into the 11s right now, and I am just accelerating at an average amount. I'm not getting full throttle on it. But once you do hit a speed that you're willing to cruise at, it should be sitting right around the 14.7 mark. Now this will provide any and all information, like I said, so the tuner can make adjustments appropriately while they're in there messing with your fuel mapping.
So there you have it, the 3 most important gauges. Find these and many others at MAPerformance.com. Also check the description below. If you have any questions, leave a comment. We also will accept your phone calls. Trust me, I get a lot of them. Or we offer live chat on our website. I look forward to hearing from all of you.